Alright guys, welcome back to JM Woodworking Car Detailing. Today what I got planned is to work on this cutting board that I'm going to be making for a friend of mine. I already got most of it done here. All I got to do is sand the top a little bit more and also get the bark taken off, just because it's not good to have the bark on there. It'll eventually just fall off. But as you can see, I've got the handles right on here. Just so it makes it a little bit easier when you're picking it up. It can be like a charcuterie board. The piece of wood is black walnut. It's a really nice wood to work with, especially for a cutting board or a charcuterie board. It's not really susceptible to staining. I'll make sure to put a nice coat of oil on it as well. But to start, what I'll be doing, I'll be sanding this. It's a nice 320 grit, and we'll move on to the next step, and I'll catch you guys in the next clip. Alright guys, so what I've got here, I got my sander, I got some 320 sandpaper on there. So what we'll do is we'll go ahead and sand the top of this, and we'll also sand the edges just to get that loose bark off. And then we'll be able to, get it all finished up and ready to be brought over to the friend. Alright guys, I'll catch you in the next clip when we finish sanding this up. Alright, so I got all the sanding done, so now the next step of the process is we're going to be oiling up this cutting board just so it can be ready for whatever it's about to take. So what I got here is Howard's Butcher Block Conditioner. Truly you want to use oil first, just so it can saturate into the wood to begin with. But this stuff works as well. Usually you do oil, then the Butcher Block Conditioner. But since it's black walnut, I'm not too concerned about doing the oil, so I can do Butcher Block Conditioner and it'll work perfectly fine. So what I'll do is I'll just shake it up a little bit, and then you can use as much as you'd like to of this stuff, because you want to be able to cover the whole cutting board. I think that's probably good for right now. And what I like to do is I like to use a paper towel just so I can just kind of smear it in there, cover it nice and good, And we're not going to be doing like a real thin layer. We actually want to do a little bit of a thick layer and let it sit here for a little bit, so that way it can saturate into the wood nicely. We'll also get the sides covered as well, because you want to have all the area covered. So as you can see, there's a decent amount of cutting board or Butcher Block Conditioner on this, and that's fine. Make sure everything is nice and covered up. Get along all the seams, underneath the handles as well. If it gets on your hands, it's fine too. So get that up under there. We'll get along the sides here, kind of just smear that in. On top a little bit more. Just make sure everything is nice and covered. That way you know, the wood does not decide that it's going to dry out, start cracking. You're gonna wanna do this every few months, just so the wood is able to be reconditioned. That way, it does not dry out. But other than that, it's a pretty simple process. You won't have to oil it again. I just recommend the Butcher Block conditioner. It acts as an oil, and if you're able to warm it up a little bit before applying it, it's even better. That way, the wood can soak that up a little bit better. Just so it doesn't not dry out. So what I'll do now is I'll wait for this to, just kind of let it do its thing, let the wood soak it in a little bit before I move on to the bottom. The bottom, if you're not going to be using the bottom to cut, which I would hope you're not using the bottom of this board to cut anything on, you can do one coat, let it sit for about 15 minutes, and you should be good with that. With this, I'll probably let this sit for, at least 45 minutes to an hour, just so it gives a little bit extra time to soak in. And once that happens, I'll catch you guys in the next clip, and I'll show you the final product. All right, folks, so been 45 minutes later, and got the board all wiped off. Finish is on. The black walnut looks fantastic. I've always been a fan of this black walnut just because it makes for a really nice cutting board. Get you some close-up shots of the grain there. Fantastic grain. So this one's all set to go. It's going to be going to the friend, and hopefully it'll be put to good use. Thanks for watching the video, guys. If you'd like to like the video, comment, give me some feedback on what else you'd like to see. If you'd like the video, also go ahead and push that subscribe button if you feel like you want to stay up to date, and if you want to turn the post notifications on, that'd be fantastic. Thanks, guys.